Mr. Horne, you had a wild weekend 3 decades ago and now find yourself in court to prove that you are not the biological father of Ms. Mannion's 29-year-old son, Andrew. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
You will meet him for the very first time in a moment, but say today's DNA test will prove you are not his dad.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Mannion, you admit to this wild weekend of sex, but claim you have no doubt that Mr. Horne is your son's biological father.
That is correct.
So, Mr. Horne, now you claim you received a shocking phone call 5 years ago. Tell the court what happened.
I was at work. I got a phone call from a family member who never calls me at work. Asked me if I remembered a certain name, which was her name, and I was like, you know how I was back then. I really don't have a clue who you're talking about. And so she mentioned a couple of other names, and that kind of rung a bell, and told me that she got a phone call from Mr. Haight saying that I might be his father. I got the phone number from my family member, and I called Mr. Haight and kind of told him, I was like, you know, you do know how your mom is. I mean, she's like a railroad track. She's been laid all across America.
Your Honor,
so
that is a lie.
No
that
way
is
okay. Let's try to be respectful, but I get your point. So it was your opinion that Ms. Mannion had been promiscuous?
Yeah.
Okay. And so you had the phone conversation and you basically told him
that there's no way I could be the father.
Ms. Mannion?
Yes, Your Honor.
He called your son, and he basically said there's no possible way he could be his biological father.
He is the father because I was in another relationship, and a paternity test did come out that the other guy was not the father. And there was only 2 people that I was with during that time.
So there were 2 people you were with, and you said you had a DNA test on the other one, and so you feel like it has to be Mr. Horne from this point.
Yes.
Okay, I want to understand how all this started.
We were at a party on the weekend at an apartment complex of a buddy of mine's. She showed up. I didn't really have a clue who she was. We started chatting. She kept coming on to me.
That is a lie.
I found out she was a friend of mine's, girlfriend or dating. They were dating or whatever. He was in California. So she kept coming on to me. The more we drank, I drank quite a bit. Passed out. I woke up to the best alarm clock ever.
Oh, no.
Woo.
I do not do that kind of stuff.
Yes, you did.
I'm sorry. No, I did not. I do not put myself out like that, ever. He was drunk.
I was drunk and passed out, and you took advantage of me.
No.
Oh, come on, woman.
He woke me up. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about taking me to the car and talking to me and reached over and kissed me. I'm like, excuse me, I have a boyfriend.
Okay, so
No.
we don't know who woke who up.
Right.
And because that's the evening you say you conceived your son.
I only slept with Mr. Horne twice.
Okay.
One that night and one the next day.
And then from there, you basically moved on. You guys did not start a relationship. You didn't keep in touch. It was none of that.
Not even close.
Did you ever hear she was pregnant?
I found out that she was pregnant after she had the child. I ran into the dude that she was dating at the time. He said he took a DNA test, but he never seen the results, so therefore he could not be the father. I call it like I see it, she's a hoe.
Okay.
So there's no way I could be the dad.
Okay.
We got to come up with a new word. Just work with me here.
All right.
Ms. Mannion, once you realized you were pregnant, did you immediately think it was Mr. Horne's child?
No, I did not.
You thought it was someone else's?
Yes.
Okay. And that's the man that you had tested?
Well, I did not pay for it. His family did.
Did you bring copies of the DNA testing results?
No, I did
into
not.
court as proof?
I did not get the results. All I know is he told me.
I even called her family after this because the said dude that she thought was the father gave me the phone number because I was like, you know, if I got a kid, I want to be part of the kid's life. When I called, the grandmother answered the phone, and I said who I was, and the grandmother's like, are you sure that you're the father?
So you knew at that point there was a question as to the paternity?
Yes, ma'am. I'll admit, I used to drink a lot and used to drug a lot. I was in no case way to take care of a kid, and a kid that probably wasn't even mine anyway, so I just let it go.
Okay, so you thought someone else was the father. You had him take a DNA test, but you never saw the results. Did you ever see Mr. Horne after that, Miss Mannion?
No, I had no way to get a hold of him. All I know is my mother told me that he contacted them and even left his name, his phone number for when my child gets older to contact them.
Ms. Mannion, you are stating to the court that you do, in fact, agree with Mr. Horne's testimony that at some point he called a family member to inquire.
Yes, he did.
At that point, you say he even left his name and number.
That is correct.
And did you ever reach out to him after he left the name and number?
No, my mother lost the number.
They got his name and number and told you, but they never showed you.
Yeah, they never showed me.
Okay. I want to hear from your son. Your son Andrew is here. Ron, can you please grab Mr. Haight?
Yes, ma'am.
If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell. Thank you for joining us today.
No problem.
We are here trying to get some answers for you. Who did your mother lead you to believe was your biological father from the beginning?
Well, I was with my grandparents for the first 5 years of my life.
Okay.
I considered them my mom and dad, and I kept calling her Christina.
Okay.
I ended up going to live with her at the age of 5.
Okay.
And she was married at the time.
Okay.
And so I assumed that he could have been the father at that time.
Okay. And at what point did you find out that he wasn't?
Around the time that that relationship ended.
How old were you then?
12.
12. So for the first 5 years of your life, you considered your grandmother and grandfather to be your mother and father, so you called them mom and dad.
Correct.
Then when you went to live with your mother, she was married, and so then you thought your stepdad was your dad.
Correct.
And then when they broke up, that's when you realized he was not your father either.
That is correct.
What did your mother tell you at that point?
I asked her who he was, and she gave me the name Kevin Horne the very first time.
The first time you asked?
The first time I asked.
And she had absolutely no doubt in her mind?
She had no doubt in her mind.
She didn't say it could be somebody else too?
No, she didn't.
Just said Kevin Horne?
Yep.
At that point, what did you do with that information?
I stored it in memory,
You stored it
so I could find a way to find him.
until you could find a way to find him. So when you gave him that information, Ms. Mannion, did you truly believe Mr. Horne was the father? Because you've admitted in court today that there possibly could be another man, but they told you the DNA test said it proved it wasn't true, but you didn't see it. So did you ever think to maybe fill your son in and say, well, there also was another guy?
Your Honor, the other guy did sign the birth certificate because he believed also that he was the father.
Let me see that, Ron.
Here you go, Your Honor.
So wait a minute.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. My son's last name is my maiden name.
Okay, so you gave
What?
your son your maiden last name.
Yes, I did.
The name of the father on the birth certificate, is it the same name of the man that had the test previously?
Yes, it is. He signed the birth certificate before the test was done.
So, Mr. Horne, you don't seem like you believe in this.
Is anybody actually in here believing this crap?
So, Mr. Haight, did your mom ever say to you, Mr. Horne is one possibility, but there potentially was someone else? We had a test, but I never saw the results. Did she tell you that part of the story?
Nope. When I went to get a birth certificate for an ID, it was the first time I found out that.
You saw your birth certificate for the first time, how old?
17, 18.
So when you went to get your ID was the first time you ever seen your birth certificate?
Correct.
And when you looked at the name of the father listed on there, you
wasn't
didn't know
Kevin
who?
Horne.
It wasn't Kevin Horne. Did you ask your mother?
I did, and she said that there was a DNA test done and that he was not the father. It wasn't until recently that I actually started asking, where's this evidence?
Bingo. That's what I'm talking about. First, he thought your father was his father. Then he thought your husband was his father. Then you told him he was his father. Then in court,
Then
you
you
said
told him
there's
somebody else.
another guy. I'm listening to this story. And at 29 years of age, I think we need to take a little bit more seriously the fact that he still really doesn't know who his biological father is. And as you stand here today, and you so easily write that other guy off because he got tested and he wasn't the father, I can't write him off because you don't have any proof.
Yeah, you're right.
So then that leaves him in a position where he can't fully accept that truth. Even if it is true, he can't fully accept it because he can't see the paperwork.
I understand.
Okay. Mr. Haight, what are you hoping for today?
I'm hoping that I actually have found my father.
So since you were 12 years old, you've been carrying the name Kevin Horne in the back of your mind.
Correct.
And today, this very moment, is the first time you've ever laid eyes on him.
That is correct.
Other than, yeah.
Other than a picture on the internet when I found the information. My grandmother lost all the information that he gave her. So I did investigative work myself to find him.
Good for you.
And we've been talking for the last 5 years. Ever
You
since we
have?
found- Yeah, we have.
Good.
The kid, I hate to keep calling him a kid because he's almost 30. He's had a rough childhood, you know, and the thing that makes me the maddest most about it is the fact that she knew how to find me. She could have found me.
I didn't
And
know how to
if
find
he
him.
is my son, I've lost 29 years of his life other than the last few years that we've been able to
I'm
talk on the
sorry
phone. So,
that you made poor choices that left you.
yeah, one of them was having sex with you, but that's besides the point.
Please.
If that is my kid, you took 29 years of his life of not having a dad and being confused for so many years.
Why did you disappear? Why did you?
I've lived in Orlando, Florida for the last 29 years.
No.
I didn't go nowhere.
Yeah, you did. You got the information and you disappeared. Why didn't you call and contact them?
Because your mom even.
Why? No. Oh, come on.
All right,
My family ain't like that.
Miss Mannion, I get why you're upset. I mean, this has all really gone over your head. I mean, literally. You are not grasping what really has happened. And what he's trying to say is, when there was a question regarding the paternity, he made the phone call. Your family then informed him that there was another possible father, and it probably was because at that time you even said you believed it was the other guy's child. So when he got the information that it wasn't his, he left it alone, but I said, I'll leave my number if anything else changes. He thought he never got a call because nothing else changed. But what happened is his number got lost.
Oh.
See, I see what happened.
I didn't even see the number.
We know you didn't see anything. No, really, Miss Mannion, you have not seen it.
Really?
I get it. You have not seen it. That's why
No.
I'm here to try to make you understand that even though you do want to believe, and look, Mr. Horne has been slightly harsh today in his language, but I do understand what he's saying. What's wrong, Miss Mannion?
Truth hurt.
You need to calm down, Miss Mannion, because I have the results for you. Mr. Haight,
Yes.
is there anything you'd like to say, sir? Because at the end of the day, this is about you. What would you like to say?
Well, if you are the father, I would like to continue growing our relationship.
Definitely.
And if not, I'll still like to we can go as a, older brother type thing, I guess.
That's
a much
sweet.
younger older brother.
Yeah.
I want to give you the results. Ron?
Your Honor.
Thank you. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Horne v. Mannion, when it comes to 29-year-old Andrew Haight, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Horne, you are his father.
I told you. I told you.
We got this one, right?
Yeah.
How do you feel?
I'm very happy.
I'm happy for you. You're a 29-year-old young man, and you know what? I see young men come in this courtroom that have never, ever known their father at all. That's one issue to deal with, and that is difficult. It's a complete different thing to every 5 to 7 years somebody tell you somebody new is your dad.
Yeah.
That is confusing and heartbreaking.
Yeah, it is.
I know, I can see it in your face. But I'm so thankful that you all had the courage to come here today. No matter what happened, what we got wrong, you know, whose feelings got hurt. The point is we got to the truth. And now you can walk out of here and know that that name you've been entertaining since you were 12 years old, Kevin Horne, that really is your biological father.
Yes, I can.
I'm so happy. I'm glad you've already been getting to know one another, but now you can get to know one another even on the next level with clarity and that absolute knowing.
And
that
my grandkids.
Amen to that. Ms. Chatman, you and the defendant have an older child together, but you've brought him to court to prove your 2-year-old son, Maurice Hayes Jr., is his.
Yes, Your Honor.
You claim he was excited during your pregnancy, named your baby, but now denies him because he has a new girlfriend.
Yes.
Now, Mr. Hayes, you say you've always doubted paternity of Maurice Jr.
Yes.
And you're just trying to do the right thing by signing the birth certificate, but you now say he's not yours and you want the plaintiff to change his name when the paternity test proves he's not your junior.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Chatman, tell us, why do you feel Mr. Hayes needs to just step up and be a father?
Because if he could take care of somebody else's child, why can't he take care of his own child?
And so you submit today that he's taking care of someone else's child.
Yes. Yes, Your Honor.
But not doing anything for the child he fathered with you.
Not Maurice
Explain.
Jr. He's not doing nothing for Maurice Jr. He barely does for Mariah. Like, for instance, on Christmas, he brought Mariah 5 presents. Then bring Maurice Jr. nothing.
For Christmas?
Yes.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Is that true, Mr. Hayes?
No, ma'am, she's telling a lie, Your Honor. I bought actually 6 gifts. I gave him 1 and gave her 5, and I gave both of them, I held both of them and gave both of them hugs.
But you clearly have doubt around Maurice Jr.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me about that doubt.
Only reason why I have that because when I was asking her was she pregnant, she was like, no. And I got a piece of letter in the mail saying that she was pregnant, but she also still was in denial. So when I say she was like 4 months and my mother asked her was she pregnant, she says, no, she's not. So I still was like, okay, how are you not pregnant? And I got a letter in the mail.
So why all this confusion?
I don't know, because she was talking to another guy and I guess she was scared to tell me about it.
Ms.
I don't
Chatman,
know.
why all this back and forth? I'm pregnant, I'm not pregnant?
Because,
pregnant.
true enough, I told him I wasn't pregnant because
So
I
why
just
you
had
think I'm
Mariah
why they don't beat
4
up?
months. She was only 4 months, and I was pregnant again, so I didn't know. I didn't know if I wanted to keep him, to be honest, or what. So we talked about it, and we got back together.
So he came back?
Yes.
After he found out you were pregnant?
Yes.
Did it seem as if he accepted the pregnancy?
He went to every doctor appointment that I'd had since
Yes,
we
ma'am.
got back
Yes,
together.
ma'am. I
Exactly.
had no symptoms. I had none of this. Yeah.
In your mind, your baby's on the way.
Yes, Your Honor.
You at the hospital, the baby's born.
Yes, Your Honor.
You decide, I'm signing the birth certificate.
Yes, Your Honor.
You didn't think at that moment you needed a DNA test, you didn't have a doubt?
She told me that was my baby, and I took responsibility and moved back in. That's when I started having doubts when he came home. But when I was holding him, I was telling her that I'm not the father. I never had symptoms. You know, I never felt any type of way.
What symptoms were you supposed to have?
Like, you know, cravings. I
you
gained
had,
weight.
When your
When she was
girlfriend's
pregnant.
pregnant the first time, when she's pregnant the first time, you gained weight, but this time you didn't have the same symptoms. You didn't
No, ma'am.
eat, you didn't have any craving,
No, ma'am.
and you believe it was because it wasn't your child.
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, that's a first, Jerome.
Okay, I have something
Definitely
for you,
the
ma'am.
first time I've ever heard that.
I have something for you.
Yes, I'd like to see that evidence. Jerome, will you hand it to me, please? What is this, ma'am?
In the state of Tennessee, once you sign the birth certificate,
And that's what she was using against me.
they
first
tell
thing.
you once you sign the birth certificate, it voids off DNA paternity testing.
So this is a pamphlet.
Yes, ma'am.
It says, for your child's sake, establish paternity.
Yes.
And it's basically an entire pamphlet with passages highlighted that talk about the issues you need to consider as it relates to paternity, signing a birth certificate, and if you have doubt, how you should not sign the birth certificate. It says parents should think carefully before acknowledging paternity. If either of you do change your mind, you have 60 days to rescind the acknowledgement in writing. If either parent has any doubts about who the father is, no forms should be signed.
I was just trying to be a good guy, Your Honor.
Your Honor.
That's all.
You're acknowledging you saw this pamphlet.
Yes, ma'am. She explained all that to me. I was just trying to be a good guy
2
to her.
weeks. He said he waited till the baby was 2 weeks, said the baby not his. That paper say 60 days. Why did he not write them?
Very good question, Ms. Chatman. Mr. Hayes, why didn't you rescind your acknowledgement if you felt in 2 weeks the baby really didn't look like you and you don't remember having the symptoms?
Because when I went to court, when I went to juvenile court, they said that I had to get a DNA. I had to pay for a DNA, and I didn't have no job at the time.
What is this about? I'm just trying to be a nice guy.
Yes, when he clearly
Because it doesn't matter if you a nice guy in the hospital, but then you a no-show guy after you leave. What's the point?
You right, Your Honor. He don't let me
I
at
have
all,
something
period.
for you.
What else do you have, Miss Chatman?
He say this not his
Wrong.
son.
What is this, ma'am?
It's a Facebook post that he posted off his page about his son.
That was my first little boy I had about her. That's the one that
That's
died.
December the 11th, 2012.
That's the baby that died.
That's 2012. God bless me with my son yesterday. If he died that day, why he said God bless me with my son yesterday?
This post says, God bless me with my son yesterday. Did you write this?
I don't remember writing nothing like that.
I have something else for you, ma'am.
Yes.
Here you go.
What else do you have, Miss Chatman?
It's a picture of Maurice Jr. He claimed that he didn't have that Facebook. Oh, yes, he did, because there goes his name tagged in it right there.
He's here.
Yes, Maurice.
And you tagged
Maurice.
Maurice Hayes here.
Yes.
On the picture. And what you're saying is, this is the same Facebook name that's used on the previous text. Maurice Player Reese Hayes.
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
Player Reese.
Your Honor, the only reason why I just really had doubt is because when she asked me over to her dad's house, after she left, I seen another guy coming out the house. So when I walked into the door, I explained to her, I asked her, I said, who is that guy? She said, that's my daddy friend. I said, your dad don't hang around young dudes. So she said, oh, he just working, they just work together, it ain't nothing. But the whole time, it was the same guy that's constantly calling my phone and telling me, hey, your baby mama this and that, your baby mama this and that. And I said, hey, how you get my number?
What's this and that?
He was saying that he the daddy and I'm trying to go see my son and she won't let me. And you know, I had met him one time at the barbershop. And then when we started talking, then he was showing me Facebook messages where Keisha had inboxed him saying, come get your child.
Why you didn't bring it?
I ain't gotta bring nothing. You already know what's going on.
But Miss Chatman, did you tell another man through Facebook to come and get his child?
I never told another man to come and get his child. And the day that he's talking about, he came over there and saw that guy in my house. He brought her with him over there.
So Miss Chatman, whether or not he was your boyfriend at that point, was there any other possible father, is what I'm trying to understand.
I was talking to the guy who he was talking about, but he could not run the time that the doctor said I conceived, no.
So you were intimate with someone else?
Yes.
But you're saying that wasn't during the window of conception?
No, ma'am.
So you do understand why he could have a doubt, but you're saying his dates are off?
I understand.
She used my mama's phone to talk to other guys.
I sure did. Why?
I never
yes.
said nothing about that. I ain't know what's going on with it. I just left it alone. And, you know, now that the baby's here, now she's trying to wonder why, you know, I'm not stepping to the plate because, you know, you don't have so many guys in the picture. I don't know what to do.
What about Mariah? You barely come and do something for her.
You said I can't go get, if I can't go get one, don't do for the other. So I just left them both alone. I bring shoes and clothes over there every time I got paid. This the witness right here. Every time I
Hold
got
on.
paid, I bring shoes and clothes. You said,
This how she got all the shoes.
What
she
shoes?
stopped me in
Hold on,
my
let's
track.
get this clear. Let's get this clear.
She
What
had
shoes?
Pumas, you mean we bought her Jordans?
Yeah, Pumas
Jordan,
and Jordan.
Air Force
White Air
One.
Force Ones, black
White Air Force One, baby. I never saw
Ones.
no white Air Force One or
Oh,
black
my
Air Force
God.
One. And the one that I did
So
see,
when-
I brought it in my pocket.
All right, it's nothing that gets on my last nerve more than people talking about what designer shoe a baby has and
No,
they
I'm
don't
not- it
even
ain't
have
about the designer
a daddy.
Savage too.
I don't care
Hey,
about
she
the
makes it like I don't do
shoe.
nothing.
It's about finding out
Exactly.
whether or not
And I'm
you
with you.
are
And
that's why I'm here.
Maurice Jr.'s
You right.
father.
He
Now,
do nothing for her.
you've
He
heard of
barely
this.
do
I
this
want to
for-
hear from her. I want to hear from her. Ma'am, please stand up to the podium. Your name, ma'am?
Jennifer.
Jennifer Webb. Miss Webb, and you are now Mr. Hayes's,
Baby mother.
you're his child's mother. And you all are in a relationship now. What do you know about the paternity of Maurice Jr.?
One day when I had Maurice's phone, I guess the guy she was messing with supposed to be the baby daddy or whoever. He texted the phone and said, "Can you tell your baby mama, can I see my baby?" It was a long paragraph. It was telling him about, he was messing with Keisha then. Keisha wasn't going to her daddy's house. She was going to the club, leaving the club, going over his house. That's what he texted to the phone.
Oh, he was texting
He texted Maurice
Mr.
phone.
Hayes
I never,
directly,
This is my
Yes,
first
sir.
time hearing about it.
saying, I would
Heard about
like
it.
to see my child. And he was talking about Maurice Jr.?
Yes, ma'am.
This is my first time hearing about that.
Yes.
And so, when you saw this text, did you confront Miss Chatman?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And,
What did you say?
I called. I said, why? I said, how did that guy get my number? She said, I don't know. So I don't know what him and Keisha had going, but I'm just trying to get to the bottom of it because.
So when's the last time he's seen your children?
She won't let him because of the baby.
Thank you. If she
Well,
can't get
you
one,
can't get one, you
can't get
can't
neither
get
one
none.
of them.
So, Miss Chatman, you've created a condition that he cannot see Mariah, the older child, unless he also takes Maurice Jr.
Yes, because he will come and give Mariah things, take her, but leave him with
He
broken
had doubts,
promises.
Keisha. You
It
can't-
don't matter
he
why
had doubts.
he
was
promising you,
messing
I'm
up.
gonna come back and get him, I'm gonna come back and get you, Daddy
Because
love
he
you, I'm
tried to
gonna come back and
Raya.
get
He
you.
wanted Raya. He did.
Well,
want
why he
girl.
lied for though?
Mr. Hayes, you admit that you've made the effort to see your daughter because you are sure she's your biological child.
Because we had to see.
But you leave Maurice Jr. behind
Yes, Your Honor.
because you are doubtful about his paternity.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you also have made the mistake of telling Maurice Jr. you were going to come back for him and never show up.
Yes, Your Honor.
But he
Because
never
that's
got
how
it.
you get Mariah.
Yes, Your Honor.
What evidence do you have there that you'd like to show
Saying
the
that
court?
I can't get
Jerome, may I see that, please?
Saying if I can't get one.
This is a copy of a text log that
Yeah,
says,
that's it.
not her today. I'm gonna come get her tomorrow. I got something to do today.
Yep.
You write back, Ms. Chapman, her or them.
Yes.
And then you write back, no, you write back her.
Yes.
Yes,
And
Your
then
Honor.
you write back, you might as well forget it
Bye.
about it, bye.
Yes.
Because you serious.
Yes.
If he's not coming to get both children, then he can't see either one.
Yes.
Is it fair, though? I mean, think about
It's not.
it. You
You're right.
signed the birth certificate.
You're right, Your Honor.
The child has your name.
Yes, ma'am.
What's the harm in just picking him up?
He forced it, I know.
I mean, it's too many dudes in the picture. I'm not finna take her no child that ain't mine, Your Honor. I'm just being real. I
Don't-
work too hard for my little money.
Listen, all this about, I just wanted to be a good guy. What happened to that person that just
The good
wanted to be
guy.
a good guy?
I stepped out of her life, Your Honor, for a simple fact, because she left one night and said, Maurice, can I go to the club? I said, yeah, you can go. Left me there with Junior and Raya. Woke up next morning, she wasn't there. Hopped in the car, go look for her. She over another guy's house.
You didn't watch.
When I came to the door, knocked on the door, Keith's in there. Some dude comes
No,
to the
the
door.
first one was the right dude.
Oh,
That's not
hey,
him.
well, hey, you don't need to be here, man. This ain't that. You know, so I said, man, I don't want no confusion. She on the couch drunk.
Listen, we can tell that the relationship didn't have an ounce of commitment in it. I'm just trying to understand his doubt. What other information and evidence do we have that relates to the paternity issue? Do you have something, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
What is it? Jerome, will you pass this to me?
It's a Facebook post he made It's his name right there, Maurice Hayes. The time y'all was broke up when you put that
I
picture.
remember it.
So this one says, daddy time with the kids. Gotta love them.
That was in my house. That's what I'm telling you.
You wasn't there.
That's what's up. That's good. You damn right.
All right, ladies, watch
please.
your language in the courtroom. I've heard enough. I'm ready for the results. Jerome, please hand me the envelope. And please stand between our plaintiff and defendant for these results. I don't want anybody getting out of hand. Let's stay composed. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Chatman versus Hayes, as it pertains to 2-year-old Maurice Hayes Jr., it has been determined by this court, Mr. Hayes, you are not the father.
That's fine. He can have his name back. That's
But you
fine.
took it through all that.
Yeah, I took out through all that, but did I not tell you I was with somebody else, though?
No,
Did I
you-
not say that?
Oh, you
Not
didn't
with
say
nobody
that.
else, but at the time.
Before we start getting silly to save face, the point is, it's not his child.
Okay.
He ain't been through all this. Man got tears in his eyes.
You don't know
Mr. Hayes, you're very emotional. What are you feeling?
She kept for seeing my daughter for so long.
You right.
And just put me through so much. I ain't seen my daughter in 2 or 3 months. And it's like, it's really getting to me because that's my baby and I'll do anything for her, but she said if I can't get one, I can't get the other one, but here it is today, I'm not the father.
Okay, you can get your son.
You all gonna have to figure out how to work through this now. You have a child together, Mariah. Is this other gentleman the only other possible father? So he is Maurice Jr.'s biological father. What I'm trying to get to is that this is madness.
Yes, Your Honor.
And let me be clear, now that we've determined in this court that you are not, in fact, Maurice Jr.'s biological father, that's not gonna automatically cut you off from responsibility for that child support because you signed the birth certificate. So what I'm saying is, this doesn't end today. The truth has come out today.
Yeah.
But this isn't the end, this is the beginning. Ms. Lovett, you are in court today to prove Mr. Hilton is the biological father of your 2-month-old daughter, Winter. You claim that Mr. Hilton has denied your daughter since birth and has also abandoned your other 4 children. You say the stress of this entire situation has been devastating. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Hilton, you claim you are certain Miss Lovett's daughter is not your child because Miss Lovett was in a sexual relationship with another man weeks before you learned of her pregnancy. Is this correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Lovett, you claim Mr. Hilton's denial is hurting your family. Explain.
He's a deadbeat dad. He doesn't take care of the kids at all. He does nothing. I've lost everything. I lost my house, my car. I'm financially, I'm just destroyed because he just want to handle his responsibilities.
Mr. Hilton, those are strong allegations.
I'm not finna take a baby that's not mine. I love my kids, Your Honor. I got 4 other kids, but, Your Honor, I'm not finna do that. That's impossible.
You have 4 other kids together.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
But you so strongly believe Winter is not your biological child, you said you're not taking care of her.
No, ma'am, Your Honor. No, Your Honor.
I can see that this really hurts you, Miss Lovett.
I shouldn't have to go through this. All these kids are his, and I know it. We made them together. She's just so beautiful. That's his baby. I know she is. I know what I did.
Can you look at Mr. Hilton and talk to him? Tell him how this makes you feel.
I'm hurt. I loved you so much, and you just keep doing this to our family. It don't make no sense. I look at her. She needs her dad.
And Mr. Hilton, you can't look at Miss Lovett or the baby.
No, ma'am, Your Honor, because all this is a lie, it's an act. She had a sexual relationship with somebody else, Your Honor.
Whatever.
Look at them eyes. And them big old
What
eyes.
do you mean
My
look at her
slanted.
eyes?
Come on, man. My eyes are
She's
slanted.
only 2 months.
I have a big
she ain't
nose.
fully developed.
She's so
It don't
precious.
take a rocket scientist to see that.
So can you take me to the point when you find out you're pregnant with Winter? What's going on then?
Okay, so all in November we were having sex. Then we end up Thanksgiving, we stopped talking. I ended up meeting another guy. December the 1st, you know, me and that guy, we had sex with a condom. But the whole November, me and Ashley had sex. Between the 11th, like, and all the way till Thanksgiving, like that whole month.
So you're saying, in your mind, the timing adds up?
It's gotta add up. It does. I even brought a calendar to show you. Like,
all right, let's look at the calendar.
Look, the whole November, all of November we had sex.
It looked like something she made up. Come on now. That's an out. Be for real.
I mean, whether she made it, what I'm trying to understand, Mr. Hilton, did you have sex with Miss Lovett pretty much the entire month of November up until Thanksgiving?
Unprotected.
No, ma'am.
You did?
Possibly, no, ma'am.
You don't remember it that way?
I don't remember that.
What do you remember?
I remember the last time was November the 15th. That's the last time, Your Honor.
November the 15th in your mind?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So the only way to figure out if that is the right timing is to go to the conception calculator, which I have here. When was Winter due?
August the 6th.
Okay, so I'm gonna put in August the 6th. She was due then. Press calculate. The possible conception date.
Right. Don't see it right
11th.
there. Looks like we got a rocket
15th.
science.
That's something you made up.
How did something?
That's something you made up, man.
It's accurate. I know I got
So
pregnant.
what
all the
happens
time.
when you told Mr. Hilton you were pregnant?
He ain't care. You thought he cared? No. He immediately said that was not my baby. He said it's no way possible. He said he Googled it and it don't make sense that that's his baby at all. He said the timeline do not match up. He said you can get pregnant in a week and it come back positive.
That's it.
So wait a minute, Google is giving paternity results now?
Yeah. I went through my whole pregnancy and Ashley was not there. It was one of my worst pregnancies ever. I was in and out the hospital. My baby's sick. Everything. He was not around. He's still not around. He's not doing anything at all.
Mr. Hilton, were you there for the birth when Winter was born?
No, ma'am. I came a couple of days later.
And you made that choice because you don't feel like she's your child?
No, ma'am.
So what did you come up there for at all?
Just to see like if it's mine or not. See if it looked like me or similar to my other kids, and I don't see it, so I just don't believe it, you know. Cause she done lied before plenty of times. She lied plenty.
Really?
Of times.
I lied?
Look
Okay.
at my nose. I got a fat nose. Look at that. Come on now. I got slanted eyes. That baby eyes is big. Come on.
Okay, I had a light bulb moment.
Okay. Yes, Your Honor.
I feel like you're dealing with that kind of worst case scenario for a man. Because, you know, y'all really not as strong
We
as us.
always make.
But I'm
things
saying you
work.
all make all your mistakes,
Yes.
right? But then when it goes down and then we make our mistake, it's number one, something you can never get over after it. And then number two, when it comes with a new baby, he still hasn't even forgiven you for the fact that you slept with the guy. That alone for him
And
is
we wasn't
like,
even together. That had nothing to do with him.
well, I hope you know men well enough by now. That's not how it works.
That's how we think.
That's it.
We'll never let it go.
That ain't
Ever.
gonna never let it go.
Ever.
Look, and that's the first half a smile I got out of Mr. Hilton, because it's true. That part is bothering him in and of itself.
Amen.
Then put the baby on top of it. He can't even process the cheating, much less get to the baby that might have came with it. That's why you get nothing from him. And I'm not saying that's right. I'm just trying to tell you that is real. So let's move on. The baby comes, you come up there 2 days later, you look at the baby, and now you really like, not only did she have sex with somebody else, this baby don't look the way I think the baby should look. It's not mine. So you're saying from that point on, Miss Lovett, he's doing nothing for the baby?
Nothing at all, whatsoever. And
Did he
barely do
sign the
anything for
birth
us.
certificate?
He didn't sign anything. He wasn't even at the hospital.
No.
Nothing.
You know,
He
I'm
was
not
not
And this
there.
breaks your heart. Like, I can
Because he wasn't there. Like, you just don't know what I went through. He was not there.
Your Honor, I had no
I
bond
was
with the baby.
sick. I had no help. I had nobody. I did all this on my own, on top of taking care of other kids.
So did he sign the birth certificate for the other 4 children?
No.
Hold on.
I had to force him. Like, I had to sit there and force him to do stuff.
Oh, this is an act, Your Honor. I don't-
No,
How is it an act? What you mean? Ain't nothing no act.
Wait a minute.
You the joke.
Okay. Well, we're gonna find out when these results come. That's all.
So, Ms. Lovett, I want to understand this. You've had 4, possibly 5 children with Mr. Hilton, and his name is not on any of the children's birth certificates?
No, on nothing. He don't take responsibility for nothing at all.
Mr. Hilton, what in the world are you up to? Why haven't you signed the birth certificate for the children that you know are yours?
I don't, Your Honor, I don't know. She's crazy.
No, I'm not talking about her.
She's a little-
No, I'm not
She's
talking
making
about
this
her.
stuff up. She's making this
Making
stuff
what
up.
So are you on the birth certificates?
Yes, I am.
Ashley, really? We gonna do this.
Okay.
You ain't on nothing.
All right.
You don't take accountability for nothing. You don't take responsibility for nothing.
See, look at that head. Look at his head. You look like the baby got a receipt.
That's his baby. That's his baby. Look at him.
I don't
Look
even
at
have
them
no-
side by side.
I don't even have no bond
They
with
look
the
just
baby. When I
alike.
hold the baby cry. Like my other kids.
How would
the
you
baby
have
don't
a
cry.
bond if you're
They
not
come right to
around?
daddy. They
How
come
you gonna
right to
have a
daddy.
bond if you're never around?
Hold on. I'm still stuck on the fact that why you keep having babies by the same man that don't sign the birth certificate for your baby.
Because
I believe what you just testified to was a lie, Mr. Hilton. You ain't signed no birth certificates. So in your court papers, you said there was medical evidence to prove that Mr. Hilton was your child's biological father.
Yes.
What is that evidence?
My baby, she does have a birthmark. It's called, I Googled it, it's a Mongolian spot. When they get older, there it is, Your Honor, identical. One is Winter and one is my other child. They're identical. It goes away when they're little, like when they grow older, but right now my daughter still has it. It's there. Then like my baby look just like him.
And you determined that this Mongolian spot is because Mr. Hilton is the biological father?
Yes.
Is it
he had
passed through
He
the
had
father?
it. Yes, he had it.
Oh, you have it?
No, I don't have
Yes, you did. I've seen your
I
baby
don't have
pictures.
it.
What are you talking about?
My
He
baby
denies
don't even have
everything.
that. No.
He had it when he was
None
a
of my
baby.
family members have
All
that.
of my
I don't
kids
have
had it.
that.
All of them.
No.
He just gonna deny everything.
Yeah.
That's what he does.
That's her birthmark. That ain't my birthmark. Come on, man.
What is you talking about? I've never had nothing like that ever.
Well, Miss Lovett, you're concerning me because it's like you keep going after him and he's this and he's that and he's this, and all I keep coming back to is, why do you keep having babies by him then? If he's all these things, look at me when I'm talking to you. I'm mad at you and I'm mad at you.
You need to be mad that he's done nothing for the baby. You should be more mad at him.
No, you don't
He's
tell
done
me who
nothing.
I get to be more mad at. That's the problem. You're not gonna sit up here and convince me that you're just a victim of this man 5 times over.
I love him.
I know you do. And you think having all these babies gonna make him stay or he gonna make him do right by you. And that is just not how the cookie crumbles. And then, Mr. Hilton, you keep impregnating the woman. You know she loves you.
Mm-hmm.
You know she wants to be with you. And you sitting here bringing children in the world that don't even have the benefit of having their father's name on their birth certificate. Who are you for that? It disgusts me. Because that means these children are gonna go somewhere, and every time they go somewhere, school, everywhere in their life where they need to present their birth certificate, they're gonna know who you are, but they're not gonna see you on this birth certificate. Do you have any idea what that's gonna do to them emotionally? Why wasn't I worth it enough? That wasn't worth a signature?
It's her fault, you know.
No, it ain't her fault.
Wow.
It's not her fault. You know
have
whose
to
fault
show
it is?
up. You
be
have to show
quiet
up.
when I'm talking. Because you've been talking through 5 babies and you ain't listened to another thing you said, so I'm talking now. I done been around the block so many times, I own the block. You wrong. You wrong. And I'm not gonna sit up in here with the cry and tell you to your face, you're dead wrong. And you get on your children's birth certificates and you do what you're supposed to do. And we're gonna see what we're gonna do about this other one too. Give me the envelope, Jerome. Sit up here and got all these babies in the world with no name on it. Did you give him his last name?
Yes. They all have his last name, except for Winter.
These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Lovett versus Hilton, when it comes to 2-month-old Winter Lovett, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Hilton, you are not the father.
Told you. Told you.
You have cried your little heart out today. When you said you didn't give the baby the last name, I just went to the result, because I said that ain't even logical. And you're not surprised. So now we see the manipulation has been going both ways. He manipulates you through your mind, and you manipulate him with your maternity. Master manipulation going on here. That's why nobody's happy, nobody's satisfied, nobody's comfortable, nobody's committed, and that's why the children out here left with blank birth certificates. This don't make no sense. You're not no baby making machine. How old are you? 28? And you got 5 babies. And all the other ones are by him.
Yes, Your Honor.
Confirmed.
No.
Well, here we go. So this sheds new light on the blank birth certificates. It's a lot going on here. But you've come to the right place.